Today is what, the 23rd of December, 2021. See, I'm getting a bit old here, and I don't want to go into the 21st century. I think I like the 19th century, even though it was terrible. 21st century is not looking too good for us unless we take heed from men like Marko Francišković and a few others who are trying to do their best according to God's leading to direct us into the proper state of consciousness and remind us, as he did in Croatia a few weeks ago at a very interesting meeting. He reminded the people who were listening to him that they were lions and they were not sheep. And this is something that people forget. You see, we are caliphs. Allah made us to be leaders. He did not make us to be sheep. Sheep are sheep. They're animals. We are men. We are women. And Allah has given us a brain in which to transmit thoughts. And these thoughts should be a light that we shine upon truth. And as I see it, the little bit that I've seen about Marko taking place in Croatia these last several weeks, Marko is doing his best to shine that light on the truth for not only Croatia, but for the entire world. And just as you see 100 years ago, around about this time, a certain assassination took place and it launched the whole world into a war. And we don't want to repeat that, but there are people who want that repeated. There are people, there are creatures, there are evil beings who would like to see that kind of mass murder repeated. Only this time, they want to do it at a different pace, a different means. And they're using this COVID scam to do that. And people are so fearful. Yeah, sheep are fearful. But lions are not fearful. Well, on occasion they become fearful if they're outnumbered by a hyena pack, or maybe 2 or 3 big buffaloes, or a couple of elephants, you see. But even then, they will turn around and fight as long as they're in a pack, you see. As long as the lion has his pride. And today, I have the good fortune, according to Allah's will, to talk to a couple of ladies who know Marko Francišković well. They know his work. And they also know that Allah is in Croatia, shining a light, his light, through Marko Francišković, not just on Croatia, but on the entire world. So it's my opinion that Allah is using this man, Lana's good husband, to try and waken us, the entire world, to what's really and truly taking place. Now, he may lose his life in the attempt. That would make him a martyr. The Croatian authorities, as evil as they are, they know this. Do they want a martyr on their hands? I think not. But there are some people who do not care. Some people in those upper echelons at the high table, if you wish, according to the John Wick films, that table exists. It surely does. It may not be exactly as it's portrayed in the John Wick films, but it does exist. But what's more important is that the creatures behind it are even more terrible than what's portrayed in that film. The creatures behind people like the Pope of COVID is Mr. Fauci, this false doctor, this false professor, this Pope of lies. He's wicked, and his heart is controlled by the wicked people who pay his salary, $500,000 or more, to lie to us. The people in Croatia who have arrested Marko Francišković are like him, only they don't have quite so much power. But they are liars, and they are thieves, and they cannot be trusted. And for those of you who have a religious leaning, no matter what your faith, you understand that divine order in any society, no matter how great or how small, is dependent upon trust. And without it, a nation will fall. And so Marko is being used by God Almighty to shine a light on this growing spirit of mistrust, which is a reality, and it is a truth at this moment, a mistrust that the peoples of the world are holding against their leadership, because everyone knows, even those who don't admit it, that our leaders are lying to us. And most especially those who know are the professionals amongst us, the doctors, the nurses, the pharmacists. They understand the science and they are ignoring it. And there are men of religion who have a collar around their neck. They have a turban on their head, a tail behind that turban, and dressed in long robes. And those who profess to be disciples of Christ, they are following the lie. They are following the lie. They're supporting it with profound ignorance and profound cowardice. They are the sheep that Marko spoke about in one of his most recent speeches, which I admire. These people are misguiding the world. What's worse is they are misguiding themselves. They're leading themselves on a straight path right into the fire. And there is no mercy. There is no grace. So what we're doing here, by the grace of God, is shining the light on the truth of this moment. And that light is right through the heart of these two ladies and right through the heart of the man that they support, the man whom I've been talking about, Marko Francišković, who's sitting in jail, in the Croatian jail at this moment, because the world has been filled with cowards, or it's been filled with men and women who are not cowards, but who are ignorant. And let me say one thing about ignorance before we begin talking to these two good ladies. Ignorance, when it is not under properly formed authority and leadership, can only serve evil. And that is what the men and women in the uniforms with all the patches on their shoulders and the gold braids and the ID tags, holding this immunization needle or holding the gun that's going to put it to your head if you don't take it. That's what they're doing. They are supporting evil. This has nothing to do with health. The mystery religions of the world have always used fear to elevate themselves to the leaders of the false agenda. That's what they've always done. And they've always used religion to do it. Fear and religion. So the priests of this world, the military men of this world, the police of this world, the politicians and the governors and the presidents and the prime ministers of this world, if they don't turn away from this thing called the COVID and its scam and its vaccine, which is not a vaccine, it is a bioweapon, if they don't turn away from it, they will be confronted with the hellfire. There's no doubt about that. The scriptures are very clear. Liars have no place in hell. Liars have no place in hell, none whatsoever. And if you are ignorant, according to the Quran, you cannot serve the purpose of Allah. And the hereafter is all about serving the purpose of Allah. This is a place where we are tested here on earth to see whether or not we qualify. And I am here to tell you that Marko Francišković qualifies. God bless him and God protect him.